In this series, we have discussed how group decision-making is like building a house. If decisions are made based on faulty conclusions, the outcome is compromised. A common source of faulty conclusions are logical fallacies, which occur when a person supports a position with misleading, flawed, or outright false argumentation. In our last video, we discussed the anecdotal fallacy. To support his conclusion that increased safety observations would increase safety, we heard Bob say,
"At my last job, we increased safety observations and we never had another accident again."
Bob's experience with a previous employer may be relevant, but he has not provided Billy with enough information to show that it is relevant. For example, what type of work did Bob's previous employer do? Was it similar to what he does now? Also, what types of injury did his previous employer experience? Were they similar to what he is experiencing now in his current position? Let's say that Bob and Billy's company has a large number of twisted ankles as a result of employees tripping over deteriorating pavement at their facility. On the other hand, Bob's previous company had injuries resulting from improper tool usage. In this instance, the tool usage may be more easily addressed by increasing the number of safety observations. Therefore, his previous experience would not likely be relevant to preventing falls due to the poor condition of the pavement. However, if instead of falls, Bob's company is also experiencing issues with improper tool usage, then it is possible that Bob's previous experience may be helpful. Before we introduce this week's fallacy, see if you can spot it in the discussion on whether to purchase software. In support of the software purchase, Jane appeals to her team by stating,
Acme Corporation also implemented this new software. They have since doubled their EBITDA.
Did you spot the problem with Jane's argument? If you guessed the correlational and causational fallacy, you would be correct. This fallacy occurs when one supports a position by presuming causation when it is unclear if the relationship between two events is merely correlational rather than causational. In last week's episode, Jack's anecdotal story implied that his former company went out of business because of a software implementation. He brought up the story as a cautionary tale. If we follow Jane's plan to purchase the software, we could go out of business too. However, Jack does not offer any evidence that the software implementation actually caused his former company's insolvency. His story conflates correlation with causation. Jane's statement similarly implies causation where only correlation can be inferred. A myriad of other factors could have helped improve EBITDA. This sets a misleading expectation that if Jane's company implements the software, they will gain the same results as Acme did. Now let's turn to our other team discussion, increasing safety observations to decrease the number of injuries occurring at Bob and Billy's facility. Again, Bob wants to increase the number of observations in order to improve safety. Here, we can again use Bob's statement that,
"At my last job, we increased safety observations and we never had another accident again."
In addition to committing the anecdotal fallacy, how is Bob also committing the correlational and causational fallacy? What support could Bob bring into the discussion to show his previous experience could benefit his current company? In our next episode, we will hear how Bob can avoid the correlational and causational fallacy, and in what ways his previous experience could be helpful. Then we will discuss a new fallacy called the middle ground fallacy. Until next time, build well.